podcast where we try and explain fiction using science. Today, we're going to be discussing Harry Potter. I'm your co-host, Simon.
And I'm Jeff.
So, Jeff.
Simon.
What is the most fundamental law of nature?
Magic is not real.
That's not true. Have you ever seen the love between two consenting adults?
Would it surprise you if I said no?
No. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's not what I was expecting you would say, so I guess I am surprised.
Well, good. That's what I was going for. It's more fun this way. Gotta keep you on your toes.
But that is magical. So no, that's not a fundamental law of nature.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't call it magic. Visceral, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, that's a word you could use for that too. No, I was referring to the conservation of mass and energy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like literally the
Seems
most
a little less esoteric.
You're right. The podcast about science is not esoteric. Man, we're really hammering in that pedantic part of our name.
Well, story of my life.
So, Harry Potter does not follow this at all.
Yeah, because there's magic.
Exactly. But we got to explain how it does, because that's our podcast that we do together every Thursday. Not every other Thursday. So, this is a tough thing to explain. Because J.K. Rowling writes, I swear, in one of the first two books, she writes that magic does not create or destroy any energy or math. So the question is,
okay,
where does their stuff
Where does it come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we talking pocket dimension? Are we talking my favorite answer to everything?
Relic particles.
I was going to say miniaturized nuclear fusion. I have too many favorite things.
Yeah, I mean, you have a better idea of what it could be, I guess.
What it could, but
seeing as I have not really read or watched any of it.
There is no explanation that I know of in the
books.
All
right, well, great.
So in the books.
Oh, in the books.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's different.
So I'm going to go with something different here because we've already done, I think, the other two
Relic
ones.
particles.
And miniaturized nuclear fusion, which you continue to deny me as a good answer for our thing because it generates too much
I will
heat.
continue to do that. Yeah, right? Weird.
So I'm gonna say pocket dimension. It's gotta be that.
Okay, so is this just magic as a whole, or
this is
how they summon their spirit animal things that I think they do?
So those to me strike me as things that are very low in energy. Like maybe that could be come across as some kind of battery power or.
Okay, well, also let's do a little of the audio journalism and explain what I just said, because I also don't know what that is.
You mean a Patronus? Okay, so a Patronus is essentially like a magical shield made out of emotion. So conservation of mass and energy, we're doing it's got to be pocket dimension. Wizards have access to a different dimension that has just a bunch of chairs and water and fire, and it just exists. This is not to mention the room of requirement, which is a room that will literally turn into anything you want, including a room filled with infinite things. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's something we're going to have to discuss also.
This is a tough problem. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
Are we saying I have an idea?
Okay, yes, we are saying you do have an idea.
There's a theory that says that you could have universes within universes, and those universes can be infinitely small in space in one universe, but still infinitely not infinitely small, but they could take up a very small amount of space, close to zero in one universe, and then they can have a normal universe size space in their own space. So the space isn't totally transferable. What if every single wizard wand actually contains an entire universe, and that they are ripping the resources out of those universes. And it just seems like it's an infinite amount of stuff, but instead, in fact, it's just a really lot of stuff.
Well, aren't they... I don't, like, can they just create, like, chairs and stuff out of their wands?
They can.
Also, don't the wands choose people or something silly?
Boy, we gotta tackle one thing at a time. I actually have... We're never gonna get to any of the things I actually have written down if we keep on coming up with problems with wands.
Well, I mean...
Also...
You're giving me too much room to pick apart.
That's true. That's my fault. So let's...
You gotta limit my creativity.
I would say all of the emotional things that are tied to wands, like the Patronuses and the fact that they choose, I'm making quotations that you cannot see because this is an audio medium.
Right.
That is totally in the head of the wizards because it's an ancient religion. I'm going back to my Jedi.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I like that because it means that a lot of the stuff I can ignore, like the power of love.
Wait, is that also a thing?
The power of love?
In Harry Potter?
I mean, the power of love is...
Like, they just straight up, like, and then friendship helped everything.
No, but Patronuses are pretty close to that. That's like how happy you are. That's how strong your Patronus is. I think that's just because Patronus is the mental chemistry that's needed to generate the specific Patronus from your universe.
It requires dopamine.
Or endorphins, either or, yeah. So, like, someone with, like, really bad anxiety disorder probably has really wildly differing Patronuses depending on the day.
Also, those stoned wizards have real strong Patronuses.
Yeah.
Personas. Sorry, that's a different game entirely.
We got conservation of mass and energy. Wands are gateways that use miniaturized universes to generate mass in our current universe.
Okay, how are the wands powered then, also?
Well, they have little universes in them, and universes are pretty much perpetual motion machines.
Okay.
Not entirely, obviously.
So wait,
but
the...
they do have a lot of energy.
Universe within it powers it to pull things from it.
Yes. I mean, that's like how machines work, you know? They power themselves.
Well, yeah, but they also have, like, batteries and
so,
actual ways to power them that are external to them.
You gotta think of the entire universe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where does the power to, like,
oh, hold on, I'm still trying. There's a lot to think about.
Sorry. You can keep on going.
Continue, I'm there.
So think about, like, entire universe, what gives it the power to generate a tree? It's the fact that, like, all of this other stuff is going on in the universe. It's essentially the universe is powering itself to spawn a tree. I think me and my brother one time came up with an idea that the entire universe can be thought of as a machine to toast and then untoast toast. Because you make toast, and then you eat the toast, and then you essentially grow wheat in a whole bunch of series of systems to then just remake bread, which is untoasted toast.
Well, yeah, but you are not untoasting that toast.
Eventually, those same atoms will be used to make toast. You have essentially just taken... You could actually have the entire system come back full circle to just making untoasted toast.
I mean, it's not then making it untoasted toast.
Oh, yeah, it is. You just gotta think of time as a circle.
That also doesn't work. Harry Potter. Okay. Let's move on.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that because universes are self-contained energy devices, they will slowly lose energy, but they can generate energy from themselves. So they're slowly killing probably any inhabitants inside of that universe. But they have just so much energy that...
Well, that will
the life cycle
be the heat death of that universe.
Yeah, the life cycle of that universe is just not even, like, I was going to say millennia, and that was like not even measurable by human standards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
or wizard standards.
So we understand that, or wizards, because they have human lifespans, pretty much, or we assume. I don't know.
Sure.
So I'm not going to deal with any of the emotional stuff right now. That's like Patronuses, because again, that's all. I think a lot of that is the ability to do a spell is more like a psychokinetic, psychochemical reaction. That's correct, right? Brain chemistry,
Sure, why not?
I should know this.
How are they channeling that into the spell? Like, how does the wand get the brain chemicals?
That's I think it's the brain chemicals altering the body chemistry. So
okay. So if your palms are the right kind of sweaty,
and your heart rate's the right kind of rate, and I mean even down to little things, you got like blood pressure, you got glucose in your bloodstream, you got salt coming out of your pores. Everything that's going on with your body at that current moment affects the spell you're about to cast.
Okay.
And that's what I would say. And they have just trained. Wizards are like monks, like Buddhist monks. They have trained their body to create kind of like a biofeedback mechanism where when they say a certain thing and that creates a certain effect, that casts a spell. And it's a highly tuned system, which is...
Okay, why does it have to be the same thing for everybody?
I'm saying it doesn't, but because they have to be taught, teaching has systematized and standardized it. And one of the reasons why swans don't work the same way for every person is because not every person has the same emotions coming out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like sometimes wands will just be like, "Nah, man, you're not my owner. Go away." I'm not gonna.
You can't train me.
I'm not gonna deal with wizarding duels because that's hard to explain. But
sure.
So the next thing I want to talk about, that was just the conservation of massive energy, and we are already like 15 minutes in.
And we definitely nailed that first one.
So there is something I really enjoyed that I did find, which is, you know what gillyweed is in the books?
No.
So in the fourth book, Harry has like a challenge where he's put up against a bunch of way better wizards to essentially just like dive underneath this lake and fight mer people to save like the one he loves. And I think the one he loves is like Ron or something like that, because a little. And so I actually read this. I think it was The Guardian, which I mean I was reading The Guardian. I'm sorry, but. they were quoting this paper where they actually looked at the like what it would take for these things to happen. They looked at gillyweed and they said it had to process.
So wait, what is gillyweed?
So gillyweed essentially all it is it's like a seaweed that you eat and it gives you gills. It gives you the ability to breathe underwater and gives you fins. Difficult thing to explain. However.
Okay, I mean, that would have been easy enough, and then it turns spit into oxygen. Done. Nailed it. But it gives you gills?
Essentially, so, it does, okay, so I would actually say, it does give you gills. I think that is weird and horrible and gross. I feel like it could have just been like a normal breathing through your mouth kind of thing. Gills don't help you breathe. Like, there's nothing specific about the organ of gills that allow you to breathe underwater. It's having specialized lungs. Now I should actually say specialized lungs. It's the opposite of that. Air lungs are more advanced than water lungs.
Yeah. Yes.
I understand that I'm talking to a biologist. So it gives you gills and specialized lungs to breathe underwater.
Okay.
So there was a guy who did this, who did calculations. He said at 100% efficiency, you have to process 443 liters of water per minute to keep the average, it's like 15-year-old boy alive.
Well, we're not even at the efficiency of the gills. We are still at how does it make gills.
I know. I just want to record this because this is great. This is a flow. Maybe this is because I'm a chemical engineer that I found this so fascinating, but you have to have a flow of 2.46 meters per second. 46 meters per second of that he has to be breathing underwater, which is a ton of water. Because
so Harry becomes a shark and can never stop moving.
Pretty much, because the normal that is almost double the normal velocity that normal humans take in with their lungs, which is insane. The other cool one I found from the same article, which is that skele grow, which is a potion that allows you to regrow bones in 24 hours. The same guy did the calculations. Energy expenditure of his body to regrow the bones he grows, essentially his entire forearm in 24 hours, is pretty much 6.5 kilowatts of energy, which is 133 kcal, which means he is eating, like, he has to burn 60 days, more than 60 days worth of energy of doing things, not like basal energy, like of doing things energy to grow those bones. The thing I realized he didn't mention is he has to essentially generate. He is on top of the amount that he's burning in like fat he's burning in energy. He has to also generate a good couple of pounds of calcium and bone in 24 hours. That's a lot of growth to have on any creature ever, and it's painful for Harry. But like, I'm like, it should be excruciating. Like, they should have him on morphine to have him go through this situation. This is insane. So sorry to any of our listeners. We are now recording a day later than everything before this because
turns out my internet is real bad sometimes.
Yeah. It should be the last thing we're talking about, skele, and now we're going to move on to a new subject.
Sure.
So,
I assume you had some explanation and then offered my retort, and then you answered to that?
I had no explanation for it.
Right.
This is the world's craziest protein shake. That's my solution to skele. It's the world's craziest protein shake.
Sure. Let's not rehash what you have solved on your own, apparently.
Exactly.
When I wasn't here.
That's what I can solve the most.
It might be easier for the listeners to accept it that way.
Mm-hmm. So, do you remember in the books the love potion?
No. Not even a little bit.
So in the books, there's a woman who's crushing real hard on Harry, and she's like, I want Harry to like me. So she makes him chocolates, and she imbues love potion into that chocolate, and then Harry leaves it out. Ron eats it, and it's like, what? They were meant for Harry. And
that's fine. That sounds like consent.
Exactly. So in my notes, I have love potions equal Rohypnol, maybe? But I don't think so. So the crazy thing, the thing you have to explain about the love potions. Sorry to I keep on interrupting you today.
No, you're fine. I expect that. That's usually how it goes.
So the thing about love potions that we have to explain is Ron suddenly feels an emotion towards a specific object he did not feel any emotion towards before. So
is this an object or a person?
A person.
Is he really into chocolate now?
No, he's really into the girl who had roofied him.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, how do you get effect that is that directed? And I think I have a solution.
Okay, go on.
So I don't remember how that potion is made, but if it involves putting someone's DNA...
That's a great start.
I know, right?
Okay.
Putting someone's DNA inside of the potion of the person you want to direct it at, so like your own DNA, like your own hair, then what the potion does is it changes your body's chemistry to make you seem more attractive. Like your pheromones smell better to this person, and essentially it's
But why would it be so directed?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this is something that actually it kind of exists. Not the potion part of it, but the idea that specific genetic material, like people who have specific genes, are more attractive to you. So
complementary, usually.
Yeah.
A lot of its immune system, I believe.
So what I'm saying is, like, what if we had a potion that hijacked that part of our brain and was able to direct it?
Okay. I can get behind it a little bit.
It's definitely not consent.
Oh yeah, no, this is probably super illegal in the wizarding world. I would hope, at least.
You don't know. She doesn't get arrested or anything. That makes sense to me. Like, that's actually backed up in what we know about the science of love.
Kind of. How is it, like...
Nanobots.
Is it, like, nanobots? Well, I mean, an alternative is the, whatever potion base for this is, I don't know, some sort of, like, cordyceps or something, and you prime it with your DNA, your pheromones, and then you feed it to whomever, and when they get your specific cocktail of pheromones, the cordyceps just directs you to that person.
See, that's why I have you on this podcast, Jeff. I am bad at biology.
There's a reason for biology every now and then.
So that's a simpler way of what I was referring to, because we already know there are chemicals that can alter the way that you perceive other chemicals, like the Japanese candies that change the way you taste things and stuff like that.
Is that
apparently
a thing?
It is. I've never verified this, so I don't know. But there definitely is a way of changing the way you perceive things once you've perceived one thing. Like we get that with actually sounds are like that. If you hear certain frequencies, you cannot hear them again. So it'll change the way you hear things that incorporate those frequencies. Yeah.
Okay.
Like especially, or as you age, the same thing happens. You lose the ability to hear higher frequencies, but they're so high.
Yeah, well, that's like a
That's what I'm saying.
mechanical change.
So if you can get a
Yeah.
chemical that can make a mechanical change,
yeah,
you know, bing bang boom, you got yourself a love potion. We are not consenting. Do not use this to make a love potion. That is ethically wrong.
Do not maybe infect people that you like with cordyceps.
I mean, so the next subject. Do you know what apparition is in the book?
In the book? No.
I'm starting to think that you've never read this book.
I think you would be correct.
Apparition is like wizarding teleporting. So
okay.
So once wizards go to a certain age, they can cast a spell that allows them to instantly, in quotes, teleport to a new area.
Why do they have to do it?
Because it's a dangerous spell, and if you apparate incorrectly, you will appear in a place you don't want to be. So like you'll like be in a wall and you'll die, or you'll like apparate. Half your body is
come back. Okay, so
I was gonna say there's like already good sci-fi apologetics for this that I just want to mention, which is like the idea that you could make a copy of someone and then build it in a different place and destroy the original.
Right, it's wizarding suicide machine.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or it is possible to move speed of light on Earth and have it seem instantaneous because the distances are so short, and we don't ever see a wizard try and make it to Io and back.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I kind of like it. My wizard suffocating to death. I think Io has like.
Well, they just gotta be real fast.
Has like a methane-based atmosphere or something like that. Yeah, I mean,
I
not offhand, but
not offhand.
It's something like that, and it'd be a little ridiculous. It would, you would die. Don't do that.
Yeah, it would be less than pleasant, at least.
The question is, we've built this world. I do remember this from yesterday. We built this world where casting spells is essentially borrowing energy and mass from pocket universes to do things with it.
Right.
Which is a little iffy even on the science, because like, how do you take it out of the universe? Shut up.
Just real carefully, I guess.
Real carefully. So the question is, can that be, how do you copy and then teleport and then destroy the original using that system?
Well, and part of that, is it described that is the order that happens? Or is there a split second or an amount of time that two copies of a person exists?
So that's never explained, because even if you had a copy of you, that copy would still be experiencing the world in the single person. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't experience
as their clone of you.
The clone wouldn't see the world from your perspective and its perspective. So as long as it was created right in a short enough time, it would feel as if it had teleported there, right?
I mean, yes, that's right, but I mean, like, that falls into, like, any of the Star Trek teleporter. What happens if the original doesn't get destroyed?
Or what happens when you have a problem with the copying? We're getting to assume that they have a good enough system where that of suicide. That doesn't happen. As it could be, as the body is destroyed, the other half of you is recompiled. So when inexperienced wizards do it and only part of them teleports, that's because they weren't able to.
Their refresh rate is real bad.
Essentially. Yeah. Or they are not able to sustain the spell for the entirety of like the,
no longer existing.
Like that would be a difficult thing to maintain a spell if you are in two different places, being destroyed and created at the same time.
Actually, that brings me back though. Do you need the wand to cast spells?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, because that might blow a hole in your using it as a perpetual motion machine.
It's not a perpetual motion. It's almost a perpetual motion machine. I made that very clear.
Yes, you did.
So in the books, there is an instance where powerful enough wizards are able to cast spells without the assistance of a wand. And it's never really explained. It's shown once. I would suggest that might be a lie. Like, that might not be what's really happening. That
they just have wand batteries, in their other hand.
Well, it might be that,
it's just prestidigitation.
No, it might be that the wand just has to be on the person for them to draw the energy from it, but it doesn't necessarily need to be the conduit. It just is more difficult if it's not the conduit, because then your own body is the conduit.
Sure.
For whatever technology is enabling you to draw mass and energy from this new universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let's get back to whatever we were talking about before I forget about it the rest of the way.
I like the copying and destroying the original version of apparition because
teleporting. That's what we were talking
because that
about.
explains why it's so difficult to do. Because it's considered the most difficult spell, but it's the most useful spell, obviously, because you can just move places.
Right.
And moving at the speed of light, you run into issues where, what if there's stuff in your way? A planet. And if you're moving, if you have to accelerate the speed of light through a planet, that's a lot of force on your body.
Well, would it be, your whole body? Or would you just be,
That's what I'm saying. That's why the copying and destroying makes a lot more sense. Because then it's just information. It's not a physical human.
Yeah, you were just recreating yourself elsewhere and then destroying
I don't
the
think
original.
a lot of wizards get liquefied by acceleration while they're apparating.
Right.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I like that. So, next one.
Okay.
Do you know what a bezoar is? And this is not really a thing I want to explain. I just want to point out that it's wrong.
A bezoar, a mass of hair and teeth tumor?
I'm so glad you know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Harry Potter world, if you use a bezoar from a goat's stomach, it can cure any poison. Yeah.
Oh.
It's an old belief.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's just probably taken from old
You're better at the whole biology thing than I am. And I'm better at the toxicology thing than you are. Is there anything that can be used that would be indigestible material that you would just happen to have in your digestion tract that would nullify poisons? I guess carbon.
I mean, yeah.
So that's what we're gonna go with. We're just gonna say that bezoars are just
they happen to be carbon
or they happen
rich.
to just be chunks of coal,
activated carbon inside them.
I don't know.
I mean, at that point, they might as well, tie a chicken to their chest and then let it catch whatever poison it has and die. That is another folktale.
So we're going to go bezoars, impossible to solve.
Just bad science.
Let's not go there.
Don't eat bezoars, please. It's gross.
PSA. Don't eat bezoars. They're gross. They look like little people. Or they're like little masses of gross. If you want to gross yourself out, viewer, listener, Google bezoar, Bezoar, and just look at images. They're gross. They're really gross.
Yeah, direct any response to that to Simon. Do
all
not recommend
my
it.
social media, just so totally get in contact with me.
Yeah, I mean, I can make you any number of email addresses. I own our domain.
You do own our domain. I technically, we don't technically. I unofficially own half of it.
That's true, but that was also a verbal agreement, and no one has to know.
I mean, we will be publishing.
It's a whole $6 investment.
I do have you recorded to admitting to it.
Yes,
anyway,
that's true.
So the last thing I wanted to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
So painting, and this is more of an ethical question.
Right.
Painting in Harry Potter have consciousness and free thought.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How?
Are they just straight paintings?
Just straight paintings.
Is it like
nope,
photos too. Is it just
fact,
a whole lot of them?
Canon.
Any images of a thing?
Any illustration of a human being or living thing will have comparable sentience and intelligence to that living thing. So there's a drawing that Draco Malfoy makes, I believe, of Harry Potter getting electrified while he's on his broom playing Quidditch. And that is animated. Now, I would go as far to say that
that's torture.
That is totally unethical. Mainly because we know that they can feel fear, and we know that they can feel pain from the singing lady during the third book. It sounds like I know more.
Now, can they feel pain, or are they just reacting as though they are feeling pain?
Unclear. We know that they can be destroyed, and they have a reason to be afraid. Like, so the I think it's maybe the fat lady. I think it's the fat lady is the painting. She gets attacked in the third book, and they find her cowering in a different painting, and she's at least scared.
Wait, and they can jump between paintings?
All paintings can jump between a bunch of different paintings. They prefer paintings of themselves, though. So here's the thing. If you have several paintings of yourself, there's really only one painting you that moves throughout those paintings, which is also canon.
What happens when they're viewed simultaneously?
One of them will not have you in it, and the other one will. So you can actually jump back and forth between those two paintings. And they use this, the Order of the Phoenix uses this to send messages instantaneously, which is stupid because they're wizards. They can do it magically.
So a couple more questions to really ground this and figure this out. I have a tentative idea on how to explain this. Do they have the knowledge of whoever it was a painting of?
Yes, to a point. So they don't have the entire up to their death or up to that point. It's like not refreshed, but it's up to the point of the painting. So when they were painted, they have the knowledge of the person up to that point, and the personality too, because I can talk.
Okay,
I should mention that.
So yeah, I expect at that point everything else makes sense. I'm
glad you're trying to figure this out, because I couldn't come up with anything.
It's similar to the apparition, the teleporting. You create a copy of the person that
I like that.
Exists in a shared consciousness sort of realm. So it's a different universe from ours.
Okay. But it has portholes to our universe.
Right. And when you make a photo or painting, it creates a new porthole into our world.
And then essentially what you're doing is just copying the visage and the mental state of the original, putting it into this universe, which I assume much like what's that book?
There's
the
a
one
lot of
about
books.
the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So much like that, the universe that these paintings exist in is essentially just like one giant computer, and all it does is compute how these people should be reacting to their stimuli.
Okay, yeah, if you want to keep it as like the AI route where it's like simulated emotions and stuff.
I mean, that makes...
Or like the alternative is when you create this, it creates like a carbon copy of the person's consciousness.
So that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it's just me. I don't see a difference between a computer, a sufficiently advanced computer, like an entire universe that can emulate human beings to the point where they are indistinguishable from their originals. But it is advanced in such a way that if it receives different stimuli than the original does, it will turn into a different, quote-unquote, personality than the original. But it starts as
I mean, that makes sense, as there's different experiences that it would frame their world differently.
Yeah. And it's not just that it frames the world differently, but that it can grow on its own, because it's constantly trying to make it interactive, so it's just getting more and more intelligent. The great thing is that it just has so much data, and it's such a powerful computer that it can function that way. And I should really say computer probably isn't a great word for that. I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, well,
we need a new name for a sufficiently advanced logic machine. But it's not even a logic machine. It's like a logic and emotion. Like, it has the ability to make mistakes and purposeful mistakes, or like non-logical leaps. Like, it can't work like a computer. It's not like an I/O machine.
Yeah, like their own fully fleshed out AIs.
Yeah, pretty much.
At that point.
But as I'm saying, like, the AI...
like assuming sentience,
and that allows them to move through paintings and between paintings, but there can really only be one version of that copy. We'll have to add that stipulation. It's just the rules of the universe. Well, that's it. I feel like we actually did a pretty good job on this one, better than we did for Battlestar. I feel like that should be... I feel like
Battlestar was hard.
Of our greatness is breakfast cereals, and the low is Battlestar, and Star Wars and Harry Potter fit in between those two. I would say we did better on Star Wars, worse on this. This one was hard because it's not science fiction. Our music was composed and performed by Joe Sopchak. I do all the editing, and I'm a co-host, and my name is Simon.
And I help, and my name is Jeff.
You're a co-host. Thank you for listening.
We'll see you next time.